In this video, I'm going to show you how you can align photos into a print layout file. So in this example, I've got a live camera feed, webcam feed. It's 1920 by 1080 and it's coming from a Logitech C920. Now this is going to be the template that I will use on the print layout screen. And as you can see, it's a PNG file with some transparent areas in it. There are three areas and the areas are portrait shaped. So quite clearly this does not fit in there, and when you try and design it on the print layout screen it just doesn't fit. So your photos don't fit this area. So what you have to do is to make sure that you create photos, you take photos that are portrait. Now I'm not going to explain all about portrait photos, there's lots of ways of doing it. I'm going to show you how you can crop the landscape camera feed so that it creates portrait shaped photos for these three holes. So the question is, how much to crop? Now the way to do that is that you have to know the size of these holes. And to do that, I'm going to open this PNG file in a graphics editing package. Now I use the GIMP. You could use Photoshop or any other graphics package for that matter, but the GIMP is free. I'm going to switch to it now. Here we are. And I'm going to open up the template in here. So open. I know that it's in my pictures folder and here it is, layout.png. Let's just make this full screen. The transparent areas are shown in the checkerbox style. Now what I need to do is to measure the size of these holes. The best way to do that is to use the rectangle select tool. Now if you look down on the toolbar here, as I drag out a rectangle, watch what happens. You can see that the GIMP is telling me its width and its height. So what I'm going to do is drag a rectangle out in the area that I know is the size of one of the holes. So let's just zoom in a little bit to 100, and I'm going to take this far right hole here, which starts up here and it extends down below and behind this skyline image, and it finishes about there. So I'll start at the top. I've got the rectangle tool selected and I'm going to start dragging. So I click here and hold and I drag a rectangle down towards the bottom. And if you keep an eye on the bottom left corner there, you can see this size is roughly 552 by 828, something like that. I'm going to say 552 by 826 just to be on the, something like that. It doesn't have to be exactly accurate, but close enough. Now if I just zoom back out again, you can see that that rectangle that I've defined, which is 552 by 826, fits the other three. So if the template has been designed correctly, you will find that all of these three holes are the same size and the same shape. So I know that the shape I'm after, the size of it for the camera, is 552 by 828, or 826 should I say. So I now need to crop the webcam feed in Rightbooth to have the same aspect ratio as this rectangle that you're looking at right now. Okay, let's go back into Rightbooth. So the question is, how do I know how much of a crop to put on this live feed? Well, I've created a calculation page here. So as we know, we've just measured one of the holes and it's 552 by 826 roughly. We know that the webcam is delivering 1920 by 1080 as a landscape feed, and what we want to do is to crop it so that we get this red area here, just the red area. Now I'm going to keep the crop height at 1080 because I want the full resolution of the webcam feed. So I want to work out the crop width that makes the shape of this rectangle be exactly the same aspect ratio as this one. Now the way to do that is using some simple maths. So we know that the width and height of this rectangle is 552 by 826. Now if you divide one by the other, that fraction is the aspect ratio of that rectangle. And that aspect ratio will also equal the aspect ratio of this rectangle. Now we don't know the width yet, that's here. We do know the height that we want, which is 1080. So we know that CW divided by 1080 is equal to 552 divided by 826. So that's our equation, and it's very easy now to work out CW. And the way to do that is to move 1080 up the top there. So let's just make some space. So I put 1080 over here. I'm going to multiply those two together and divide by 826. So this is going back to your old school days now, O-level maths. So the crop width is 552 times 1080 divided by 826. So let's just get the calculator up. 552 times 1080 divided by 826 is about 722. You don't have to be completely accurate here. So 722 is the crop width. So we know we need to crop the live webcam feed in the width by 722, but we're not going to crop the height. So how do we do that? Let's come back out here. We go into settings and into the webcam video. Now this equally applies if you're using a DSLR camera. You have to apply crop, but we're sticking with the webcam. So we know that the video is coming in at 1920 by 1080. That's the live camera feed. I'm going to crop it to 722 by 1080 and watch what happens as soon as I hit the enter key. 720 by 1080, that will do. Rightmove has automatically adjusted this value so that the divisor works in the maths calculations. So you don't, as I say, you don't have to be 100% accurate here, but it's close enough. Now you also need to do the same on the webcam photo feed. So we're going to crop, and I'm going to put 720 in here as well. So again, we're still getting a live feed from camera, but it's now a portrait shape, and it should match exactly the shape in the print layout. So let's go back into Rightmove and watch what's happened. As you can see now, the live feed is also cropped in Rightmove. So now if I just drag this across, you should see that you can align that in there without any distortion. So that works well. So what we have to do now is to do all that on the print layout screen. Let me just move that back over there. Onto the print layout screen. So the print layout screen has got the 3 photo placeholders on and nothing else. As you can see, they've been cropped. So I'm going to just select them all. I'm going to change the size of the boundary so that it's roughly the same. So it's roughly correct. There we go. 3 cropped photos. Okay, I know that the size of this layout is 4:6. So the design size for this print layout is 4:6. And I also know that my print layout template PNG file is also the same shape, which is good. So you do need to get a print layout that matches your paper size. So I'm going to add the print layout. Let's do that. Add image. I know it's in my pictures folder. Here we are. Now, as you can see, the layout image is sitting on top of the 3 photo placeholders, which is exactly what we want. We don't want this behind the placeholders because we want this to mask off the photo along the skyline. So this is good. We've got this on top of the placeholders. So I'm just going to put this into position and size it exactly to fit over the paper. Now the easiest way to do that is to open up properties and set the X and Y to 0. And that has put the template right in the top corner of the paper. Now all we need to do is to size the template to fill the paper. So I'm just going to zoom out slightly. I can just move this down. There we go. The other thing I'm going to do is to lock it in place. So when I'm happy with its position and size, I lock it in place with this little icon here, and now this can't be moved. So the print template is locked in place. But I can still move the 3 photo placeholders. Right, all that remains is to size and position the placeholders. So let's do that now. Again, you don't have to be completely accurate about this. Let's just put that there. The thing to point out here is that we are sizing the placeholders without any distortion. So the photos are not being distorted in any way. Okay, there we go. So we have the 3 photos in the right place and behind the photo template. So let's take some photos and see what happens. Play the event. This is photo 1. Let's go for photo 2. And we go for photo 3. Rightmove will now generate the template. And as you can see, we've got the 3 photos, they've all been cropped, there's no distortion, and they're all accurately positioned on the print layout. So, I hope that's clear. If you're not sure, obviously ask some questions. You can go onto the forum or email me. But I hope you can now see how you can create photos that match your template. Thanks for watching.